All right, so welcome to NCCT Prep for today. We are going to start on the claims process section. We had taken a little break, finished up the medical insurance. So now we're going to go through real quick today. We're going to talk about the different things that are going to be on that part of the certification exam. And again, guys, as always, all of the information we're going to go over, you can find in the NCCT Prep library on Moodle too. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so let's see. Can you guys see that NCCT Prep? All right, very good. All right, so and this is going to be kind of a pared down version of it again. We're kind of just going over what's going to be the highlights that are going to be on that test. So, what is claims processing? The key points. Claims processing is the procedure through which healthcare providers submit claims to insurance companies for payment of medical services rendered to patients. So it's just the process of, after their visit, us taking all that data and submitting it to the insurance and see if we can get our reimbursement, right? So it involves various stages to ensure the provider is reimbursed correctly and timely. Includes claim creation, submission, follow-up, and resolution. And what we mean by that, claim creation, is charge capture when they're coming in, actually getting what CPTs they're using, what diagnosis codes we need to list, that kind of thing. Submission, actually putting all that information in and creating the claim and sending it off, usually to electronically to a clearinghouse or something like that. Follow-up, checking on those claims later if we don't hear back from the insurance companies and seeing what happened with them. Did it get paid? Did it get rejected? And then resolution. If it didn't get paid, we got to figure out why, fix it, and resolve that claim. We're always working for resolution. All right, patient registration, key points. We are collecting patients' personal and insurance information during registration. That's one of the biggest things, is getting accurate demographics on our patients and getting those entered in accurately. We're going to verify insurance coverage to ensure it's active. We always want to verify that patient's insurance before the services are rendered at the time we schedule their appointment. We want to get that stuff verified and know what we're working with, okay? Accurate registration is crucial for smooth claims processing. That's correct. If we don't get current policy information, we don't know what copay to charge, we don't know where to send the claim, the proper place, all that stuff. So we got to get all that information. The documents that are collected is the insurance ID, proof of coverage, which is most of the time insurance ID, and your patient demographics, which is their personal information, address, billing and mailing address, their data. Always want that date of birth, social if we can get it, full name, full legal name as it appears on their insurance card. All right, so some key points to remember about insurance verification. We're going to confirm the patient's eligibility before the services are rendered. Like I said, we need to know what we're working with. Call or check the insurance provider's portal for coverage details. Sometimes there's a number on the back of the insurance cards you can call. A lot of times you're going to be doing it online through the insurance company's website. You'll have a patient portal that you can go in and enter either their ID or their name and their birth date, and it'll bring up whether they're covered at that time or not. And it'll give you some basics on their policy, like copay information, out-of-pocket maximums, and things like that. Let's see. Important to avoid claim rejections due to ineligible insurance or non-covered services. That's one of the things we got to, one of the reasons some of our claims come back to us, because their insurance wasn't in effect at the date of service, or we provided a service that was not covered, or the patient did not understand their coverage, and we rendered services that were not eligible. collect patient co-payments based on insurance verification results. We have to go by whatever the insurance company tells us, whatever the insurance, like if, you know, Mary Jo Blow comes in and she says that her copay is supposed to be $20, but we pull it up on the insurance website and it says $25. Well, guess what? Mary Jo Blow is going to have to pay $25 because we have to go by what the insurance says legally. Okay? So we need to know what those copays are before those services get rendered. Encounter documentation. And this is when an encounter is, again, you know, an office visit when they're seen. The key points: document the patient visit, the services provider, and the diagnosis codes. And again, most of that's going to be provided on that super bill, right? Ensure proper use of ICD-10 diagnosis codes, CPT procedure codes, and HCPCS codes. And remember, HCPCS are for Medicare only. This documentation forms the basis for billing. Ensure all services are documented accurately. We always need to be as accurate as possible on the services that were rendered for a few different reasons. Number one, we do not want to falsify a patient's medical record. We do not want to put in information in their medical record that is inaccurate, that's going to follow them from office to office for the rest of their lives, okay? Again, for our billing purposes, we need that stuff. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. That's just the way it works in our industry. And yeah, that's about it for documentation. We've been over that a lot. All right, coding the claim. Medical coders translate the diagnosis and services provided into standardized codes, ICD, CPT, and HCPCS. And again, a lot of that's going to come on the super bills already. We're just there to verify and making sure that what they filled out on the super bill is what we can bill together, okay? These codes are used to create a claim that can be submitted to the insurance provider. Again, the HCFA 1500, once we enter all that data into the EHR system, like what y'all are seeing in MOSS, it's going to get populated into a form called a HCFA 1500. And we send that over electronically most of the time. We do have the option to print it out, fax it, snail mail it, whatever. But nowadays, most of it's electronically transferred. And then we submit that to the insurance provider or clearinghouse. Coding errors can lead to delays or claim rejections, making accuracy essential. And that's why coders are there to verify the information before it ever goes out, so the money comes back as fast as possible. Claim creation and submission. A few key points. Prepare the CMS 1500, or just what I was saying, HCFA 1500. It's called both things. It's a 1500 form. That's really all you need. For outpatient, or UB04 for inpatient. Only people that work in hospitals are going to be using a UB04. It's just like the 1500. All the same data is going in. It's just laid out a little bit different. That's all. Okay? With relevant patient insurance and coding information. Ensure all required fields are completed correctly. Submit claims electronically through clearinghouses or directly to the insurance payer. Yeah, again, accuracy is key, because if we put it in wrong, it's going on the form wrong, okay? Or if we leave it blank, it'll be blank on the form, and then it'll come right back to us. The role of the clearinghouse acts as the middleman between the doctors and providers and the insurance companies. Like, you'll have one, like, say, what's a good one right now? Optum, One Healthcare ID, all those types of things. Optum is a clearinghouse. It started out as just a clearinghouse, and now they're doing other verification services. But Optum is one of the ones that most of the offices that I've worked for have been signed up with. And how it works is we go to the Optum website. They're our clearinghouse. And they only work with certain insurance companies. But all the insurance companies that our doctors are signed up with, all the ones that they cover, we submit those claims for those insurance companies directly to the Optum. And then Optum checks them for basic errors, sends that back to us before it ever goes to the insurance company to get rejected fully. You see what I'm saying? We have the opportunity to fix it in a 24-hour span of time before sending it to the insurance company and it getting stuck there in error for 30 days. Does that make sense? It's a quicker way for us to keep the money flowing. Like at the end of the day, we take all the claims that we've entered throughout the day into the system, we put them all together in a batch and send those out to Optum. Okay? The next morning when we get in, Optum has taken everything we sent in a batch and sent us a report back saying this one was wrong, this one was wrong, this one was wrong, and this is why. We go in that very morning and fix them and resubmit them that same day in that night's batch. So in a 24-hour period, we're able to fix these simple mistakes instead of having to send it to the insurance, them do something with it. We never hear back from the insurance and then have to wait 30 days to find out, oh, it was an error in the patient's date of birth or insurance ID number. Okay? That's what the clearinghouse does for us. It helps us be more efficient, basically. I'm in a meeting. What?
Can I get a snack?
No, I'm in a meeting. We'll talk about it after. Or maybe we won't, and you can just be hungry. Now's not the time, y'all. Now is not the time. But, yeah, so that's the role of the clearinghouse. Claims adjudication. All right, adjudication is just a big fancy word for processing. It's just the what they call when they process the claim, it's being adjudicated. So it's the adjudication process. Key points. After submission, the insurance company reviews the claim for accuracy, eligibility, and coverage. They may approve, deny, or request more information on the claim. Common issues during adjudication are missing information, incorrect coding, or coverage issues. Those are your top three. It's we left something out, we coded it incorrectly, or the patient didn't have coverage. Those are the three most common reasons that we have to mess with claims after the fact. All right, payment processing. Once the claim is approved, the insurance company reimburses the provider. An explanation of benefits, which is an EOB, or remittance advice, an RA, is issued, showing what was paid, denied, or adjusted. Payments can be full or partial based on the patient's coverage and contract agreements. Like I said, they're going to take what we bill and make all the necessary, they're going to figure out all the math of it and send us a paper back and show us how it broke down according to that patient's policy and the codes we submitted, okay, and what their coverage allows for. And we have to interpret that, put it into the patient's account, and then go from there. Let's see. Handling denials and rejections. Okay. So denied claims need to be investigated to determine the reason. And again, a lot of the times that is listed right there on the EOB. You're going to have a little legend at the bottom or the last page, whatever. And it's going to give you a code by each claim that's on that EOB. And you just look down there, okay, this one was denied for this. And usually, y'all, everything we get's electronic, but I'm a paper girl. I like having stuff in front of me. So I would print out my EOBs and sit there with a highlighter, a couple of different color highlighters. And I would have, all the easy stuff that I could fix really fast. I would highlight in one color and I would knock that out. And then I'd go through it and find everything that was denied for another reason, highlight that. And then I'm working everything that has the same issue at one time. So I can get in a flow and do it quickly. And then I move on to the next group of stuff that's denied for the same reason, get in a flow and do it quickly. Okay. Reasons for the denials: invalid codes, again, eligibility issues, missing information, and coverage limits. Resubmit corrected claims or appeal denied claims to the insurance companies. We're going to get into the details of when you can and cannot resubmit a claim to be corrected or something like that. We're going to talk in detail about that in class. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that today. But you do have the option, if you file something incorrectly, to resubmit it correctly. Okay? And we can also appeal denied claims to the insurance company if we feel they are denied in error. And there are 3 levels of appeals, and they can go all the way up. So maintaining a proper denial management process is critical to ensure claims are corrected and paid. And that denial management process is going to come from, you're going to develop your own organizational process of how you keep up with your accounts. I was one of those people. I pulled reports, and I liked it I like to have it broken down into insurance company. I would put all the patients that had outstanding claims with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I would work those accounts by dollar amounts. Start with the highest dollar amount, because that's going to make the most difference, right? And then work my way down. And then I'd go to the next insurance company and pull all the patients that had outstanding amounts to those insurance companies. And again, organize my data by highest amount and go from there. And that's where Excel, I talk about y'all using Excel and getting familiar with that. That's where that's going to help you manage that information. And it's just great. You can take notes in it and copy and paste stuff, and it's really easy to manage and keep up with things, okay? And what you do on a daily basis, your workflow, basically. But yeah, you've got to keep up. And that, also denial management is follow-up. How often we follow up on our outstanding accounts and stuff like that. Posting payments and adjustments. Post insurance payments and patient responsibility amounts to the patient's account. Adjustments may need to be made based on contracted rates or insurance adjustments. Notify the patient of any outstanding balance after insurance pays a portion. All right, I can almost guarantee you with almost 99%, I would almost say 100% certainty, but I won't, because you can never say never, that nobody that finishes my program ever gets hired directly as a payment poster. Usually in every office, the payment poster is one person, and that's all they do all day long is mess with payments and adjustments and putting them and taking them off of people's accounts. You don't want everybody's hand putting on money and taking off money, and you just don't want that. They leave it to one person. And that's why when we find, as billers, when we're working denials and we see stuff that's not correct, or, payment posters are people too. And we have close communication with them, and sometimes they make errors. So when we come across something that's was adjusted in error, or it doesn't match the EOB or what the insurance company says, then we have to go back and get with our payment poster and investigate that. You need to be tactful and professional when pointing out other people's mistakes. Okay? Point out their mistakes how you want them to point out yours, because they will do that. Okay? And I guarantee you, you're going to make mistakes. And that's normal. I still make mistakes. We all do. We're people. We're not machines. Okay? So don't beat yourself up over that either. And that's also, guys, why right now with Moss, we're grading for completion and not points. Because we expect mistakes, especially at this stage of your career. Patient billing. After insurance pays, any remaining balance is billed to the patient, if applicable. Sometimes you can't. Medicaid patients, we're not allowed to send them a bill. We're not allowed. So it depends on the patient's insurance and what the EOB says and all that. Include detailed statements showing services provided, amounts covered by insurance, and the patient's responsibility. Your EOB is going to let you know that. And once the payment posters enter in the EOB information with all the adjustments, and it goes to patient responsibility. Usually the EHR systems are sent to automatically send that patient a statement that has everything listed just like it's in the system, and it automatically mails them a statement every month if they owe a balance, okay? Sometimes it is the billing department's responsibility to contact patients about their bills, and sometimes we only deal with the insurance company. It just depends on how your office handles that, basically. If payments are not received, follow up with collections as per office policy. You cannot legally send anybody to collections before the account is 120 days past due. So we will, if it's your office's policy to contact them throughout that time, you will have to possibly make a call to that patient and say, hey, we're calling to check up on this outstanding balance. And, their responses to that will vary. They will be like, oh, can you take a card over the phone right now? I'll knock that out. And if so, then you may do that transaction with them, and they may tell you to shove it. And you say, okay, have a nice day. And you move on. That's it, Role of clearinghouses. We kind of already talked about that. They ensure that the claims are error-free before they go to the insurance company, reduce our rejection, office tracking for submitted claims, allow for immediate corrections. Right, we already talked about all that. Common claim issues, coding errors, missing information, non-covered services, failure to appeal denials in a timely manner. That's a good one too. And here's the deal about that. If you fail to file in a timely manner, you fail to appeal in a timely manner, the insurance company can legally and lawfully say, we're not paying it. Eat it. And guess what? You can't bill it to the patient. You're going to eat it. Your office is going to eat that money, lose that money. Okay, so we try for that not to happen. Summary of the claims process. Key points. Claims processing is a multi-step process requiring accuracy and timely submission. Ensure proper documentation, coding, and verification beforehand helps reduce your denials. Continuous follow-up and payment posting ensures that healthcare providers are reimbursed properly for services rendered. That's exactly right. The claims processing, I'm going to go ahead and stop share, is one of the most important processes because, and that's why I say, guys, we don't have to worry about AI taking our jobs or anything like that. And I got in an argument with a friend of mine the other day. I have a guy friend, who's very opinionated and thinks he knows everything and will argue with you till you are blue in the face, even on something that he knows nothing about. And I was telling him that we were talking about the job market and if Unitech shut down tomorrow, what would I do? And I'm like, I could find a job tomorrow like that. And he's like, why would you think that? And I'm like, why wouldn't I think that? I have a plethora of experience. I have a specialized skill set. Why wouldn't I think that? And he's like, do you think you're irreplaceable? I'm like, absolutely not. I know I'm irreplaceable. Miss Danielle, the other instructors, they could replace me in a heartbeat. Could you guys replace me? No. And I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm saying that because I have a decades of medical office experience. It's not that y'all are not capable of doing the job that I do. Y'all are. But you don't have the experience to do it as effectively and efficiently from jump. Like if a company is in financial trouble, okay, if their billing department is jacked up, or they're on the verge of bankruptcy, do you think they're going to have any qualms about paying me $10 more an hour to straighten that stuff out quickly and efficiently than they are hiring somebody fresh out of school to save themselves $10 an hour? They're not. they're going to hire the person who can save their darn company, who can save their office. Okay? So no, I have no, like, he thought I should be worried about being able to find a job. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm not. And even if I couldn't, like, go out tomorrow and say nobody is hiring billing people or coding people or whatever the case may be, guess what? I'm going to go online. I'm going to find me some kind of online scribe something, some typing something, I'm not one to sit here and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got a problem, if I need a job, I'm going to go get a job. You know? I'm going to pay. I got a kid to take care of. But, and it's like I was trying to tell him, we have a specialized skill set. We're not going to be put out of jobs by AI or anything else. We're always going to be needed because we're the ones that keep the money flowing. And if the money don't flow, nobody gets a paycheck. Okay? Point blank and simple. If the money stops, the office goes bankrupt. It can't stop. They can't afford for it to stop. That's why we do what we do. And that's why we make a little bit more than everybody else in the office, because we keep the money flowing. They need us. We are needed. So, that's all I got for you guys today. That's all the major points that are going to be on the NCCT certification exam for the claims processing section, that set of questions. Next week, we'll start with the interactive review, doing some of those questions, going through them so you guys can see what they look like, how they're worded, and, all that. See how they like to trick you up with the wording, and see how many they trick me up on. Because, I'm last when they got me on a few of them. So. All right, folks. Well, thank y'all for joining me today. Thank you for your time as always. And just have a great rest of your day. I will see you on Thursday. I apologize. I had to cancel last Thursday's meeting kind of last minute. I was in a car accident Thursday morning. And while it was a minor accident, thanks be to God, it came very, very close to being very tragic. I saw my life flash before my eyes Thursday. And it scared the crap out of me. So I was pretty shook. I was shook like all day Thursday. I was shook well into Friday, actually. And I was supposed to leave for Houston Friday morning. And I actually ended up having to take some anxiety medicine, chill out before I could even get on the highway again. So, but things are better. God was good. My car's okay. Minor damage, still drivable. And highly blessed and favored over here. So. All right, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you on Thursday.